I asked, can I do it in my locker on Friday, anyways.
What's it like knowing that for the next couple of weeks at least, you're the guy? Does it make it a little more comfortable, kind of be able to like,
Uh, it doesn't really change much for me, you know. I mean, like he was just trying to say, like the cliche answer is you prepare every week like you started, but it's honestly true. You know, what I mean, it won't change much of my preparation and how I go about my business. So yeah.
How would you assess your, looking back at the film, how would you assess your game against the Cowboys?
Yeah, I thought we made enough plays to win the game. Obviously, left some things out there. We punted 3 times, and like 2 of the times it was times where I know, we just got to find a way to stay on the field. And then at the end is finding a way not to put our defense back out on the field and finish the game with the ball in our hands in 2 minutes. I know I joked about it that the same throw from the Packers game happened again, and it's still eating at me a little bit. But just things like that you want to clean up and find a way to finish the game a little bit better.
When you're having success on third down, what goes into that? What's most important to have that 50% plus conversion rate?
Understanding the plan. I know I kind of said it last time, but you're trying to stay out of the longer yardage, situations. Obviously, when you get put in them, you just can't flinch. But trying to be good on first and second down, like I said, I think it boils down to understanding the game plan and protecting and giving our guys chances. I think they're doing a really good job of making the most of the opportunities on third downs.
because of where you are in your career, do you have a greater appreciation for moments like this where you're getting more chances to start?
I think I have a greater appreciation of being in this situation. Having the opportunity to go out and play and do the thing that I love to do. I mean, it's not promised. I know that. Been in this league for a while. I know these opportunities are precious because they don't last long. And it's just taking it day by day.
Is there something that feels like it's clicking for you right now? Like, as you said, you've had a long career, you've been through a lot of moments like this. Like, I don't know, is there like some sort of a flow state or something that's going on right now?
Flow state, I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, it's just trying to go play good football, and being in the moment. I think that's part of, I guess, the flow state of just being in this moment and the good, bad, and the ugly, and just, not riding the wave of emotions and kind of just, just trying to seize the day.
Have you always been that guy that not ride the wave of emotions, or did you have to teach yourself?
I've definitely tried that. Definitely had to teach myself that. I still feel young, so I was once younger, and where your emotions do get the best of you, and I've definitely in my later days of my career have tried to understand that you can't ride that wave, and because one time you're up and then the next time you're down. It's just you got to find a way to find that balance, and I'm still trying to learn it. It's moments in the game where I kind of, get out of my body sometimes and trying to reel it back in. But it's definitely a focal point of what I'm trying to do.
You obviously played in a lot of schemes, right? A lot of different schemes you've played in. Are some a better fit than others? Where does this one rank?
To be honest with you, a lot of them have been similar. I think I probably played from a holistic standpoint, probably three different offenses. This was the same one as one I was in Cleveland, but it's very similar to the one I was with in Indy. It was very similar to the one that I was in somewhere else. But obviously being with Drew, I think that just helps the communication part of it, understanding the game plan a little bit more going into the week rather than before the week. That's the first time I'm hearing this style of, attack of what we're trying to do. Whereas I know kind of where he's coming from based on previous time in Cleveland and being able to have that open streamline of communication with him and kind of, fast track me a little bit better.
Are you looking for a specific style offense when you're a free agent? Obviously, I know the demand part of it plays into it as well, but are you looking to say, I want to play in this kind of scheme?
No, I want to go where somebody I can work with, and I can work with Drew and JG, and that was kind of it. And I mean, football you figure out along the way. You know, if you want to stay in the league, you'll figure out a way to stay to learn the offense. You know, and you know, I think that was my boiling factor was those three guys.
What makes Drew good to work with?
It's not about him. You know, it's whatever it takes to. He always jokes about score one more point than they do, and it's the truth. And you know, I just think I think my past history with him definitely has helped me this time around.
Have you noticed any big differences between Drew and Iz from your time in Cleveland with them to now?
Their paychecks, I mean, it's a lot different. Drew wasn't the OC then, but I think that, and you know, what I mean, it's obviously Drew's calling the plays now, so that's a little different. Iz is the full-time quarterback coach now, that's a little different. But for the most part, our communication has still been the same.
You're talking during the game with Drew. How much are you reacting to what the defense is doing, adjusting, implementing different things? How much is that like in real time?
I think it's a mixture of all of it. For the most part, you know, you hope that you don't have to do too much because you hope that the study that you did going into the week was somewhat spot on a little bit. But it's a little bit of reaction where it's kind of like, hey, they're doing this to us, and now we got to pivot to go to this part of the plan rather than this. But for the most part, it's you know, it's a little give and take on both sides.
When did you find out that coach was going to yesterday tell us that you were the starter Sunday? When did you find out?
Yesterday.
Jacoby, during this three-game stretch, it's putting you with quarterbacks like Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer in this franchise history. What's it like just kind of seeing your name next to those greats?
I mean, obviously, I was in the league when Carson Palmer was playing still. So, obviously, I have a lot of ton of respect for those guys. I saw Kurt after the game, who's somebody who's reached out to me previous years in my career. But a ton of respect for those guys. You know, I don't think I've been deserving of that so far. But, you know, just trying to go out there and play good football, which they did a lot of in their career. Obviously, a lot of good football here. So just trying to find ways to stack days and stack wins.
How last year started for you kind of drive you? Is it driving you now, kind of the 1-4 start in New England?
I haven't even thought about it, to be honest with you. Thanks.
You've been around, obviously, quite a few receivers, and it seems like you developed a quick kind of rapport with Marv, and he had a big game on Monday. Why is it working so well with him, and what kind of receiver can you see him become?
I mean, I definitely can see him becoming one of the better receivers in this league. You know, I think the rapport started back in OTAs with a lot of those guys, and me trying to get to know these guys and learn them, and obviously I was kind of the new addition to the room and stuff like that, and those guys already have been here and been in the system and been playing together for a while. So just trying to, you know, fast track that relationship as much as possible and you know, stand after practice a couple of days, and obviously, you know, hearing the conversation that they've had in the room together, and based on like going from last year to this year, and you know, and obviously now that I'm playing, kind of just being vocal about things that I like, what I don't like, and what they like and what they don't like, and kind of, you know, compromising and meeting in the middle.
You played with some talented players, but is this one of the deeper playmaking groups that you've been able to throw to?
I would say so. You know, I think we got a lot of talent on this offense, and you know, it's been fun these last couple of weeks, obviously, to get out there and play with those guys, and trying to continue that this week.
You did a lot of play action this past game, and you seem very adept at it. I'm curious, as a quarterback, is play action something you kind of have to get used to, that you're comfortable with, because you're going to be turning your back on the defense for a minute? Obviously, there was one or two, I think, that didn't quite work out, and all of a sudden you're turning around and there's a guy. Like, as a quarterback, what's that like, trying to get comfortable with that idea that there's going to be a moment where you're going to have to trust what's about to happen? Yeah,
I think that's the key to a lot of things in football is trust, you know, and it's trusting that the plan is going to be right, and you turn your back and you turn around. You hopefully that the picture is what you anticipated it to be, you know, and I mean, those guys on the other side get paid too, so they're going to make plays, obviously, and they got good coaches, and they're going to scheme up things to negate a lot of stuff that we're trying to do. But, you know, I think it's something, a part of the game that you kind of you pick up on.
What's your experience been like against the Seahawks?
Good team, good football team. You know, coach really well. Got a lot of respect for Coach McDonald. You know, a lot of their players, I got ton of respect for those guys, and it's going to be a 60-minute game.
You said after the game that you expected the Cowboys to bring a lot of pressure, and that kind of left Marv one-on-one a lot. What makes him good in those situations?
I just think his skill set. He's big, he's fast, can catch, can run. He's tough. He wants the ball in those situations, which is probably the most important part of it. And I think that's just that. And in those situations, he looks forward to those. And as an offense, I think we do too. And he came out on top of a lot of those situations from past game.
You've also shown a pretty good rapport already with Michael Wilson, who was a guy who wasn't particularly involved in the first month of the season. What are you liking about throwing to him, and what does he add to the offense as that extra option?
I just think his toughness just jumps off the film. A guy that does all the dirty work for us, and and who still has a skill set if need be, he can be the number one target. It's just I got a ton of respect for Mike, and and every time his number gets called, he makes the most of his opportunity. And I'm excited. I'm excited to play with all these guys, but just become fans of a lot of these guys on his team.
That 50-yard play is the biggest one of the season, pass play for the season. What went into that working for you guys against Dallas?
I think it was a little bit of that trust of that preparation. Turning your back to the defense and turning around and seeing the gap in the defense, and kind of a trust throw that Mike's going to run through the window. And we finally caught an in cut on the run, throw him a good ball so he didn't have to stop his feet, and thought he was going to score, but he ran out of gas a little bit. It's first play of the second half. I don't know how that happens, but he made a good play.
I want to ask you about Amari. About a month ago, he went through a very high-profile mistake that drew a lot of national attention. Does it say anything about him that a month later, once he's healthy on Monday Night Football, he has the game that he had?
I just think that just shows you what this league is, and how you can't ride the wave of emotions, and how you love to see that. I mean, I'm not that much older than him, but as from a young player, you make a mistake, and then when you get your opportunity again, you gotta, you always talk about not being repeat offenders, and in 4 minutes he goes down without. I don't think I said it to him in the huddle. I just told him it was 4 minutes, and he just naturally goes down and stays in the bounds, keep the clock running. Those things are just like, that's a win. Regardless of the outcome of the game, but you gotta look at that as a win. And I remember talking to Drew on the plane, and it was just like, how about Amari going down in bounds? I was like, whoa, we all thought he was going to try and score, but, just to have the wherewithal to, just say, hey, you know what, I need to go down right now. It's just, that was, like, I remember watching that in the middle of the game and going like, dang, that's big time right there.
You like his pass pro in front of you?
Say it again?
You like his pass pro in front
Oh,
of you?
for sure. Yeah, no, I thought he did a good job. It was, you could tell he's been chomping at the bit to get back in the game for sure.
You said a couple weeks ago that you guys have thrown a bunch after practice, kind of help keep you sharp. What are some of the tangible things you could take away from those sessions that help you kind of ease into it, throwing to him?
I think it's just communication. The funny thing is, when I was throwing with him after practice, I was doing what he wanted me to do, kind of. And now it's kind of like you do what I say a little bit. But but I think it was more so just the communication part of it. And you get a chance to talk about football. You get to talk about other stuff. And he was going through a rough time, and it was just like you sit there and you're like, all right, let's throw for 5-10 minutes, and then 7 of the minutes you're kind of just talking about BS. And so it's just it's just an opportunity just to continue to learn your teammates and fine tune the relationship to that. When you get on the field, it's a little bit stronger.
For this team to snap the string of close losses, do you believe a team has to learn how to win, has to learn how to finish? Is that a thing?
Oh, for sure. It's like the famous Belichick quote of like, you can't win till you quit from losing, and and we're still finding those ways. You still go into that game, coming from that game, it's like you still got to find ways to continue to get better and continue to, again, Amari, going down in 4 minutes, that's a way to not beat yourself. You run more clock out, they run out of timeouts. Now they're going to get a chance to make us have to get another first down, besides I think it was 2 minutes. But it's just things like that to where you got to start to bank those, and those become second nature.